Whoops. Did everything, didn't it? And we'll just live with that. Okay. And then in this cell, I'm just going to calculate the average for the class, and it will be a running average. So I'm going to go equals average, and I'm going to start at cell B5. And I'm going to go to I10. So the average is 59% for the class. And I think that's partly because I didn't put any scores in for Billy. He's been doing better since his first week. Wow, that's a strange average, isn't it? What happened to him? Oh. I put in some weird values, didn't I? Okay, so that's how I calculate the average. What another thing you do have to do is if you go and do another test, let's say everybody got a 90. Just to do this quick. You do have to go here and remember to change that I, because now you have data in column J, so you change it to column J. Oops, these are not scores. So that's how I do it, is I put my sums at the top so that I can leave the ending cell number out of the equation, so that if I add more numbers, I don't have to, I don't have to go in and edit all of my calculations. So, all right.
A couple of quick things that it's so beneficial having the two of us do this presentation together, because one recognized one part and was able to fill in some gaps, and while Hal was doing his thing, there was a couple of things that occurred to me as well. So let me share my screen. There we go. Let's go back in there now. All right, so like Hal was talking about, let's say just like what happened, right? You're in the process of developing your sheet. You got some great things going. You got those little conditional formatting running. And then you realize, oh, you know what? The average min and max should be at the top. It was a brilliant idea. It was like, but, oh man, all my conditional formatting's already in there. Now, there is a pretty easy way to get rid of that. If you click on the format thing, there is this little option down here at the bottom. If you hit clear formatting, boom, it's all gone. Literally all of it. You'll notice the little boxes are also gone. But since you just removed all the conditional formatting, all you need to do is come back up here, click on that again, and you're off to the races. It's an eloquent and simple way, because trust me, I know you'll get to positions and you'll be like, oh man, how do I fix that when it's all messed up like that? And you can just select it all, clean it out.
Do you know how to add the conditional formatting to column J?
Oh, so I was actually doing a little bit. You might have seen me sneaking around while Hal was working through those formulas. So if you wanted to add your conditional formatting to spaces that didn't have it before, so like originally we didn't have it on a Billy's row either. What you can do is you can just select all, any, some, one. So let's start with John right here. I'll select John. So I'm gonna click this little paint format brush right here. Select it. You'll see it's got the little checker box on it now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check my data, make sure, yep, okay, that's John right there. I'm going to drag that down, and there you go. It's taken the formatting from this cell, including the conditional formatting, and applied it to all of the cells that I selected. I was over here trying to break it. He's doing a good job. No, some of these, yeah, I think I put it was less than 50% to make it red. So, but you switch them over, now they're all percentages again. Boom, there you go. So you can see that. So yeah, it's a couple of good tricks you can use to help. And Hal's suggestion about putting those convenient score analysis formulas at the top is a much better place for them. And that way, then, if you add more students, these values are set because of what Hal did to continually update, taking every student into account. So you don't have to worry about it. And actually, kind of think of it, you can you can kind of cheat a little bit with this one. What Hal suggested is the best way to do it. Um, Manually updating this each time you add another one. But what you could do, if you know you'll remember, so you don't forget, that's why I don't encourage it, but it is an option, is as long as you remember to update it, if later on you add another test, a quiz, or some sort of thing, you could say set it for Z. So you can see right now it's going all the way out there forever into eternity. And actually, yeah, actually, how it looks like if you just put the number in, it'll just use the number. So you could just set it for the number, and it'll do it all the way across.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I think that might be unique to Google Sheets, where in Microsoft Excel, as many of you are probably familiar, very similar to Google Sheets, but not quite. There are some differences. Well, because of all the fun extra stuff that we came up with here, I guess we're going to skip on what I was talking about earlier, but don't worry. We'll be able to look forward to that on Thursday. With the last few minutes left, do we have any other questions, concerns, other things you'd like me to take a peek at for you before we finish up?
So I have
If
another question.
Go
Here's
ahead.
my question. So a lot of our stuff in Beyond Textbooks is Excel sheets. So we import it into Google Sheets, right? But I can't quite see what the formulas are. Sometimes it imports correctly. Most of the time it doesn't quite. So is there like a cheat sheet like in Google Sheets where you can see all the formulas that are on that
Well,
sheet? Or would you just scrap it and start all over?
you probably don't need to go so far as to scrap it and start all over, because most of that data and everything in there is going to be just fine. But what you'll need to do is, yeah, unfortunately, to some degree, it's going to be a little bit of learning to know what formulas, because I can say for certain from my own experience that there are definitely formulas that work fine in Excel, but as soon as you copy them over into Sheets, it's completely broken. It won't work anymore. So there are some subtle differences that will cause some minor issues, but once you kind of determine what those specific factors are, there should be something that's exactly the same as in Sheets as it is in Excel. It just won't be quite the same. So when you copy a formula directly out of Excel and paste it into Sheets, it may or may not work. And as you can see, in this specific instance you've described, it didn't work. Um, I
and
suppose. Go ahead, Hal.
Alex, we were actually thinking about going over that on Thursday as well too, because it is a bigger subject, is how to import data and from just CSV files and or uh, Excel sheets.
Okay. I don't know if you guys wouldn't mind pulling one of the BT ones. I would really like to see, because BT is only numbers or Excel. They don't have sheets.
If you have a specific one that you can send over to us,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send it over.
Yeah, send it on over. That'll give Hal and I a chance to kind of chew on it a little bit before Thursday and hopefully get it figured out.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hal,
Sure.
this
Go ahead.
this is Shauna. Can you hear me? And Brandon?
yep.
Okay, one thing that we dealt with BT when we were doing that, it seemed like we were doing like 3 different spreadsheets where it would have been nice if we could have just done one. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
And I can't, right off the top of my head, since I'm not at school, to think of what that they actually were or whatever, but it would be nice to get it to where we could just do it in one spreadsheet and not 3. That was a big thing with our grade
Okay.
levels. It's like I guess it was you were taking the data, you were putting on a spreadsheet, and then you were putting it in a report card. And I don't know, it seemed like you were having to enter the same thing like 3 different times. So
Right.
I don't know if
So
there's a way to
there is
fix
a
that.
way. It's really easy actually. And so Thursday we'll definitely cover how to combine 3 sheets into one.
Okay, that would be so helpful. Thank you.
Okay.
I do want to point out just one thing to keep in mind. Depending on how big some of the data can get, I mean, obviously, I would suspect that most of the time for you guys as teachers, it probably doesn't get too out of control. But if there's too much data on one sheet, it can get kind of cluttered and tough to find what you're looking for. But I'm still sure that between what we've figured out so far and looking forward, we probably will be able to figure out a way to do it. Just keep that in mind. Temper your expectations on the reality of what sheets can do.
Shauna, what you're talking about, is it the CFAs? So I can send that over to them too. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, yes, it's the CFAs. And then you have to put it on the spreadsheet to get your data, but then you have to put it in your report card. And I don't know if there's a way to do it so you're not doing it entering it 3 different times.
Okay,
So it's
I'll send
actually
them
on
over.
3 different reports themselves as opposed to one sheet
Yeah,
by
I guess
itself.
it is. I guess it is because you
There's,
have to.
there still
I don't
might be a way to do it though. So yeah, Alex, if you could send that other one over to us too, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Done.
It'd be awesome to have some real world examples.
Yeah, because by you providing those examples to us, it gives us a real world thing that you guys can immediately relate to. It makes it even more useful because then you'll be able to immediately apply it to things that you're already doing. Where the examples we created here, while helpful to some degree, they're not necessarily real world. So I think that'll really help. All right, so here we go. As promised from Tuesday, going to be going into some functions that are a little more complicated, a little more intricate, but if you can get an understanding for them, they're tools that can really help you out while you're working through stuff. So the first section here, I wanted to go through some functions that use the if function. And what if is, it's basically a logical determination. It takes something simple, and if it's true or false, gives you a result. So first, just the simple if. I'm going to pull that one up first. Just going to enter it in this cell right here. So when I enter if, you can see there's a little description there. Hopefully it's big enough you can see it. Returns a value depending on the logical expression. So first you need a logical expression. So what is a logical expression? For math, just something real simple. If 1 plus 1 equals 2, that would be a true logical expression. Now, if I change that.
They're asking if you can mouse wheel in.
Oh, you guys want me to make it a little bigger for you? That's fine. Hang on. Get this out of the way real quick. Let's see if we can. Yeah, it's not wanting to do it.
Just hold down.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, and it's not working with me. All that's doing is moving the, there it is. We'll do it the old fashioned way. There we go. How's that look? A little better, I'm sure. All right, let's go back in here. So the logical expression. So let me just create an example of it over here. Let's say, well, we'll use the day Friday. So the logical expression I'm going to go with is I want to do if this cell right here, where I put that value in, equals Friday, then I want it to give the answer TGIF. Now, you have to put those quotes